Steve Jobs' life story, a dad's inspiring bedtime story for his son. Dad, I feel like no matter what I do, I mess it up. Maybe I'm just not good enough, the son said, discouraged. The dad replied gently, "Oh, buddy, do you know who else thought he wasn't good enough at times? A man named Steve Jobs." Curious, the son asked, "Steve Jobs, the iPhone guy?" The dad reassured him, "Yes, but before he became the man behind Apple, he was just like you, full of doubts, mistakes, and struggles. Let me tell you his story." Steve Jobs was born in 1955 and was given up for adoption as a baby. He grew up in a humble home, not rich, not special, just curious. In school, he wasn't the best student. He even dropped out of college because it didn't feel right. But Steve followed his heart, and that heart loved technology. So one day, in his parents' garage, Steve and his friend Steve Wozniak built a little computer. It was small, simple, but revolutionary. That's how Apple began. Imagine that. Son, just two young men in a garage with a dream, the father said with inspiration in his voice. "Wow, that's like making a spaceship out of Legos," the son exclaimed, amazed. "Exactly. But here's the twist. Success didn't last. As Apple grew, arguments started. Steve was pushed out of his own company, fired, from the very company he built with his own hands," the father said dramatically. "Fired? From Apple?" "That must have hurt," the son said, shocked. "It did. Most people would have quit, but not Steve. He didn't see it as failure. He saw it as freedom to start again. He built another company called Next and bought a tiny studio called Pixar. Do you know what Pixar made?" the dad said encouragingly. "Toy Story!" the son exclaimed, excited. "Exactly. Steve Jobs brought the first ever fully animated movie to life, and guess what? Years later, Apple was failing without him. They called him back. This time, Steve created the iPod, the iPhone, the iPad, things that changed the world forever," the dad concluded, triumphant. "So he turned failure into success?" the son asked, curious. "That's the magic, son. Steve showed us that failure is not the end. It's just a stepping stone. Even when he got sick with cancer, he kept working, kept creating, until his very last breath," the dad explained thoughtfully. "So, mistakes don't mean I'm not good enough?" the son asked, hopeful. "No, buddy. Mistakes mean you're learning. Steve once said, 'Your time is limited, so don't waste it living someone else's life.' Remember that. Be yourself. Stay curious. Stay brave," the dad said, supportive. "Thanks, Dad. Maybe I'll invent something even cooler one day," the son said, optimistic. "I know you will," Dad replied, loving